my friend, and I'm just like,
I'll tell you what, he did a great job of placing that there.
I heard the worst to bring it on it, so you get stuck on a federal court case. Because they're usually lengthy and complicated.
Which one?
Any type of federal court case.
Yeah.
Those are usually the worst.
Ooh, that just,
this was Franklin County Common Pleas.
that doesn't even sound like it.
And I tried to get out because I was really busy over
Well, are
several
all
big
grand
projects.
juries federal?
The judge said,
No.
Yeah, because the guy I knew was on a federal grand jury.
oh, this is Common Pleas. It's terrible.
And it was, he was going all.
I was in Wallace's, right before I retired, I got called in for jury duty. And the court case was one of those dirtbag kind of situations. It was a 45-year-old with a 15-year-old. And that was, but the process itself was 2 days, and it was kind of interesting. And
There's an advantage to being in rural county.
yeah.
Most of the cases, they don't have a lot of cases.
Well, actually, the bailiff, when I was there, said that most of the time, they'll get ready to seat the jury.
Yeah.
And the prosecutor, they'll come out of the negotiating room and say, we don't need to go.
Yeah.
Here's what we agreed on. Kind of one of those deals.
There was a ass clown in Lancaster ran a stop sign in our office and killed a guy on a bike. It was probably June of 2018.
I remember that, yeah.
When our security camera caught enough of it that they took our footage and they used that to find his car and find him and so that I get a call from my secretary. Hey, I need to go up to the front desk. There's a sheriff deputy up here. I'm like,
No.
What the hell?
Wow.
I got subpoenaed to go to court.
Put
For the security incident, but I was gonna send my IT guy. The prosecutor's office said I could send anybody from the office, and he's the one that turned it over. And, I think it let out, we never had to get it. But they had it, they had the rights. They had his car damaged.
Well, that's one of the,
Had the footage of him driving by.
Yeah.
The same exact time.
The person who died was a friend of Lunsford, guy in Lunsford.
They just driving down the road at the wrong time.
well, fortunately, Fairfield isn't as bad as Franklin. It's not quite as rural yet because it's suburbanized.
It's not over the top either.
No. All right. Good evening. Can we start?
Certainly.
You want a copy of the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. We have no invited guests, unless they're invisible. Why don't you, for the record, go ahead and cover all the numbers.
Capital fund total of $145,696. The depreciation fund total is $87,694. Delinquencies as of November was 19,112. December, they were down to 18,502. Road delinquencies were 2748, and we're down to 2501. Popular Bank, we have $101,294. And the dam repair checking, we have $157,523 for a total of $258,817.
Okay. We don't cover the reserve funds until the next meeting. So, moving right on to news and notes.
Okay, I was asked to see if we could hook our handhelds up to our rooftop antennas. We purchased the connector, it was the wrong connector, so I contacted, it was
That's normal.
$2.85, so I didn't feel too bad about it. Shipping was more than that, but so what I did was call B&C Communications out of Chillicothe, who we deal with, and they're sending us a connector. We still don't know whether it's going to work or not, but we'll give it a try. It's a lot cheaper buying a new radio. Lake level, I thought I'd report that. Oh, okay.
On the radio,
Okay.
we're probably not gonna buy a new one anyways. Even if this doesn't work, we'll take the one out of the backup, security truck and put it in that truck.
Yeah.
Okay, now, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Since the lake has been dropping, we have been monitoring it. We have been adjusting it throughout the winter season. As of last Thursday afternoon, it was down to 813.12, which is just a little bit, it's right around 3 feet is where it is down. So
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
815.6.
Yeah, 815.63. So yeah.
And that's
So that's kind of where it's at. We're still dropping, but we had to shut it down a little bit during the drive because it was dropping a little bit too quick.
To the specs that we have.
Specs, yeah. For ODNR's requirements.
Where do we want it for the,
About 3 feet.
okay,
About 3 feet.
so another 6 inches or so.
And then
812,
maintain- and then
812.5,
maintain for a while.
812.6, somewhere right in there.
And then maintain for a while.
Yeah. And depending on the weather, if it gets to the point where it's going to start freezing up, we'll go shut it down. Because we can't get out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always.
You think it's gonna freeze?
No, it's not gonna freeze tomorrow, but it's
No,
not
it
gonna go up tomorrow. 'Cause it's
Not
supposed to
yet.
get rain.
Yeah, not in the near future, that looks like.
I do notice people are working on docks.
Right.
So,
Well, I saw on Facebook that somebody put out there that the Fossil League was playing at 1 o'clock on Tuesday and Wednesday. Did you go play?
Not today.
Well, tomorrow's supposed to rain, I think.
Not till later.
Yeah.
Not till evening.
Okay.
They know what they're doing, don't mess with
On January 14th,
them. On January
50
15th.
some degrees.
Crazy.
I don't know.
Won't have to mow again if we don't.
Oh, my mower's put away. That's not happening. Although I think maintenance was mowing on Eagle Claw Dam today.
Yeah, they were trimming that
Still
down.
pretty green.
Wow. Okay. Request for expenditures?
Basically, I don't know who all got the email from Sue Pyle with a picture of how much the silt has collected down there.
I think that was
John Blankenship.
John
Dr.
and,
John's.
I didn't get it.
no, I got it. Sue sent it to me. Hideaway Hills Maintenance and John Blankenship. I'm not sure why. I forwarded it to him. And all it was she and Greg went out yesterday on a boat and took pictures of all the coves and the filling in, sediment filling in, and most of them, from what I saw her comments, most of them aren't too bad, but Blankenship's and John also took some pictures and sent them to us, to, I think, Jim and I.
You're getting them right now.
Okay, that were, that one that we actually walked a couple months ago and had Lindsay walk down there with us.
Yeah.
The one we got an estimate on, which is what we're
Next,
looking at here, is filling in. I mean, there's quite a bit of sediment.
Yeah, the only reason I was asking is because I just looked again at that pile of gravel next to Bob's place, and it is substantial, and I'll take a picture and forward you guys. So, it's just, it blows me away how much.
There's a lot coming down. There's a lot coming down, it really is.
Yeah, I just
don't
know if, in our case, on Bob's side, if that is more a factor of, there was a lot, during the construction of a new pipe going in caused that, or is that just normal,
Well,
just
I don't know what pipe you're talking about, but it's but
remember the
Wasn't there a big culvert right above
the culvert that was put right next to Bob's house?
Yeah.
When that happened, I just noted that in my mind and then saw this big pile as the lake is lowered, and I was just very surprised.
Kind of makes sense. They loosened up the ground and then get rain after that. It wouldn't-
Yeah, you would think, but I just don't know. It doesn't look, it looks more gravel. So I'm
Which
just,
they use gravel when they
yeah, that's true.
backfill around the the new culvert pipe.
But just a lot, so.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, not very scientific, I'm referring to just.
Yeah.
You
Well,
just
that
look there.
sounds scientific enough
That's
to me.
scientific.
If I remember right, the estimate from 2LMN to do the engineering study was right at 10.
10,250.
Okay, 10,250 to be exact. We tabled it from October, November till after the first of the year, and that's what this is. There's been a little conversation, and I don't remember who I had this with, and you've had a whole lot more to do with lakes, maybe a couple of the rest of you have also. Would we be able to take that study for that Durbin Run old road, and use it,
Wherever.
yeah, in the other coves?
Oh, I think a lot of that study would inform it. And the difference you have, or the big question you have is, I think the principles of building a sediment trap
Right.
and what's in it, what isn't, the construction is pretty straightforward, and that would be included in there. The main difference would be, Lindsay's proposal, Lindsay's proposal was to actually look at that particular watershed, determine the velocity, how much water was there, where the right, and to make a recommendation on the location. And so that's essentially what you're buying.
Is it a design also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what I meant is, that could possibly be, one of the bigger watershed areas dumping down into a cove.
Right.
So if we took their engineering study and their design, it might be a little bit more than what we need in another cove, but it certainly probably wouldn't be less.
Right.
So we could go with that, and, all right,
Oh, I think that there certainly would be some economy of scale there. I think that
that's where I'm going,
that you'd be able to inform what you were doing.
without using accounting terms or anything. That's,
Yeah. No, the only thing would be, the thing you get from them is that, again, they were gonna come in and they were gonna survey the area, they were gonna look at the construction of it, the water flow and the like. And you can do it by gosh and by golly with that, or you can actually, have them calculate it. And so,
right, okay.
we have an ongoing relationship with them that I think the other piece would be to just ask that question.
Yeah,
If we broadened
Yeah.
the project to a couple other places, would they be willing, and are they interested in, sort of folding it into one project?
Yeah, the 2 or 3 for 1 kind of thing, so, all right.
Yeah, they've been doing
Well,
work with in
yeah,
that
something.
regard. It's, the only thing as Randy can remember, way back when, we attempted to build a sediment trap on our own up there where Durbin Run comes in. And
Didn't go well.
well, it's been fully informed by the internet. People have read a lot on the internet about how to build a sediment trap.
Google trap.
So,
I didn't realize there was a YouTube on how to build a sediment trap.
oh, there's a YouTube on everything.
I think you're right.
I'm starting to believe.
You're right.
Yeah, everybody did it. We had Phil Grundage doing some dredging, we built it, and the first huge storm, and the water just, blew it out, completely blew it out, and went over the top of it, so.
Speaking of, well, that'd be a separate topic. When we get done with this, we need to discuss dredging a little bit. So I guess where we're at with this is do we want to go ahead and call 2LMN and bite the bullet for the 10,250 to get a study and construction plans going on that one, which I think is the worst one that we've got right now.
So we get the study done, then what? How are we gonna actually do the dredging? Is the plan to try to get lakes to get amenities money?
Lakes is, actually Sue,
We can pay for this with amenities money, then, okay, I'm okay with doing, but we gotta have a plan to actually do it and pay for it.
That's my concern too, is if we get the study now and we can't execute it because of no funds.
Well, we could do the study and then put it out for bids, just so we could find out where we are with it.
Here's what Sue
Have to do
said.
that anyway.
I need to discuss with my committee about helping to pay on the engineering cost.
Yeah.
Let alone anything else. But, I don't have a clue what a sediment trap would cost.
Well, the last one was 110.
Well, that was a really big
It
one.
was a big one.
Yeah.
but, I mean,
The other one we thought was
Is that the one up
probably,
in the north end?
yeah.
I mean, and Durbin Run is about 65% of the water that comes in the lake, so it's really, that's what the stream was Durbin Run that we used to make the lake. I think the one that was next to it that we have the design for is the Beaver Lane one.
Yeah.
And that one, I think they looked at it being in the mid-20s, don't you think, Randy? Was that
Something like that.
that's like 8-9 years ago, so
Right.
there'll be some
Mid-20s to build the trap,
to build the trail.
so 25.
And it was a little tricky though, because it was a combination of club property and private property, and we needed an easement. It didn't go. It didn't work.
Is this one gonna be more complicated because it's more on a hill slope?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty
You don't think so?
good. Yeah, I think she thought it was pretty straightforward. It was just a
I
matter
think
of
there's
There's a lot of flat there,
That's all I
You
know.
know. more than you think.
Access to it is through John's property, but he's actually putting a culvert in and, or paying to have some work done so that we'll have access. Well, I understand what you're saying, that
I just wanna make sure we have a
we
plan.
spend 10,000 and then we got a study in our hand, and if there's no
Put on
money
the
to
shelf
do it,
until we do, yeah.
yeah.
Should we wait and see what the Lakes comes back to us with?
I think we could table it for another month or so. See
I
what
mean,
they-
just to see
see
if
what they
if
come
they have
back.
half of it or something,
Yeah.
might make our decision a little easier.
Well, let's also, there's two things that play into this. One is see what Lakes comes back with, and also, see that 800-pound gorilla here in the room when we
Yes.
see how the budget goes. Because if it's 25,000, that's something that between Lakes and us, we might be able to find 25,000 to do. But if it's 100 and some thousand, that's that's
Yeah, I had my image that there were 50 to 100,000 or more to execute, and so knowing that it could be lower, that makes me feel.
Straightforward, yeah. I mean, that's what she sort of said at the back of the envelope calculation we talked. Because we were actually talking to her about doing it ourselves, and she was sort of like, no, if you got the equipment, sort of a comment. You do it.
well, and construction. I mean, here sooner or later the ground's going to freeze, which would make construction kind of easy down there along the edge of the lake. But it'll make it easier to dredge, the one that we need to dredge out. But let's just, why don't we just table this till first meeting in February, and we'll look at it again.
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, who's gonna, is it Sue asking the Lakes Committee about sharing?
Yeah, that's what she said. And I'll respond to that email, that we looked at it, and we're tabling it till she comes back, and we'll see.
Okay.
Let me make a note of that. Okay. On that, one of the emails also said that the big one that we did up at the north end is, I guess there's two traps involved in that, a first and the second or whatever, and one of them is full. And we already planned on getting Jim in there to clean that out, right?
Yeah, but he's more worried about tearing everything up because it's so wet.
Right, well,
So he hadn't planned on doing that for a while.
we wanted to, once it firms up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Boar Hill Gate Controller.
Is it so full it's not functioning now?
I don't know if I'd say that.
It's limited. I mean,
Well,
there's less catch space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's passing. I mean, that's the theory, right? That the catch basin catches, and if it's over full,
There's two hits. You got the first wall slows it down and it passes the second, and then the second one is a stilling one. And the whole, the big shit gets hit, the big stuff gets hit on the first one.
Big stuff.
The big stuff gets hit on the first one, and catches the trees and the like, and then the smaller stuff the first one, and then filters out the second one. And then it slowly, and then as you get less room in the catch basin, then as the water, as you get, the velocity of water, volume of water increases, then it just overtops. There's less volume for it to catch. So
There's still quite a bit of room for it in the big basin, but it is filling. In the spring, it'll go a lot quicker.
Yeah, if you don't get a chance at it this winter, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot passing through, which we don't want to do.
No.
And
No.
my only point is, wet weather is gonna be wet weather. Is there anything we can do, corrective action wise, to make it more accessible anytime
Well, I mean,
without a whole lot of expense? So,
well, the problem is now it's just too wet to get in there to do anything. And you'll just tear it up. I mean, you could get
if
in
you
there.
put gravel in or something like that, that's all I'm trying to
It'll
say.
still,
You know,
the
you'd have-
movement of the track though will just.
You'd have to
Chew it up.
put those big mats down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know that Jim has access to those.
Yeah.
That's what they
Gotcha.
do, put those giant mats down and they drive on it, clean it out, and then pull it back, which.
Remember down by the railroad tracks in Sugar Grove, when they were running equipment back into that?
I know what the mats are.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just was wondering,
It's just probably
because
double-
before you
double
had mentioned
cost.
something about, laying some gravel down for access to something, and I was wondering if it was that, so.
No, that was to get in onto the other side of the track. Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions on that? Boar Hill Gate Controller.
We've been having quite a bit more trouble with this controller here lately. It was stuck halfway closed today. So Nathan's looked back there. They've replaced a lot of parts last year. As you know, we bought new parts and, well,
Originally replaced the whole thing, didn't they?
no, they just replaced some of the inner stuff.
Bremen Gate.
Yeah.
That I remember, I'm just
Yeah,
remembering
we
back.
took parts.
Bremen Gate.
Yeah, we took parts out of the Bremen
I'm
Gate.
going back through.
And we're just not having any luck solving that problem back there. The gears are old and different things like that. At one point, we thought it was the photo eye that was causing problems, because what happens with that photo eye is it reflects off a plate on the other side. And if that plate gets moisture on it, or somebody runs through there and sprays mud up on it with their car tires, it won't work. And it's the same way down front with the exit gate. The same thing happens with the exit gate. Lots of times when the sun comes up and shines on it, it'll melt off the frost and it'll work just fine. But for some reason or other, we've been having problems with that back there. And we do have it on the depreciation schedule to replace, and I think we need to get that move on that here soon.
It's been on the depreciation schedule 2 or 3 years, we keep kicking it back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That
the
would
point
be
we
part of
got.
our rolling wave.
What?
That'd be part of our rolling wave.
Yes.
But we kicked that one's been on there as being skeletonized together for about 3 years now.
Right.
We kicked it back, hoping we could piece it together. And at some point, we just gotta bite the bullet here.
I think the point's right now.
I think it is too. I think Rick has pieced this thing together of pieces and parts for 3 years.
So the good thing is quite a few of the parts that are in it aren't very old.
Right.
So if he puts a new control unit on
Salvage
there
those.
and gets all the new gears and everything else, the old one he takes off he's gonna, scavenge everything off of that he can for, Durban Run or Bremen in the future. Because they're all 3, well, 4,
Similar.
5.
Yeah.
The controllers are all exactly the same, so,
The ones that aren't on the front, right?
Right.
Are the unique ones.
yes, yeah. So,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
all right. 5 to replace.
Depreciation fund, right, Randy?
Yeah.
Gotta be able to get out. And in.
And
Yeah. And when it's stuck halfway, you can't get in or out. Okay.
we actually had somebody on video the other day when it was stuck half open, parked back there. They went up to the gate, went like this, and then walked over to their car, went like that, and then drove on through.
Your Jeep would have fit.
But it was kind of interesting. So,
Your trust their measurement.
right. I mean, you've seen people do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it
We got this
myself,
on
but not,
camera. It was
not,
kind
not
of-
put my car at risk.
Yeah.
I drive around.
Probably go to the launch gate.
The next item I've got here is the golf cart renewal. We're coming up for new golf carts. The last time, 3 years ago, they renew them every 3 years. The last time, the cost, which was in 2017, the cost was $102 per month per car, which came out to be $510 per month. They gave us a 3-year contract, which is up. They came back, said they were going to have to raise that a little bit. They raised that from $102 a month to $110 a month, which is a total of $40 more than it has been. This is another 3-year contract.
Per month.
Per
Yeah.
month.
Okay.
And how many months do we keep those?
It's 5 months, 5 months. Let's see, I think she's got here. It's 6 months actually. 415 every year, pick up around 1015 every year. So it's,
So that means our annual cost would be $3,300.
yeah.
Still considerably below the income that we take in.
The income in 2019 was $5,327. So, we priced this against Allstate the last time. I didn't do it this time, but the last time, and Eagle Golf cars were cheaper. Plus, they gave us the 3-year contract. We had. I don't know. Do you know anything about Allstate as far as the golf carts? I had heard complaints about their service. And Eagle golf cars are pretty good.
Eagle's the one right below
Yeah.
Coon Path. just
Yeah.
right
That's
there.
what everybody buys from too,
Yeah.
right?
I say we go ahead.
It's a fair increase.
3 years it went up.
Swap it out.
Either swap it out or come fix it, depending on what it
No
is.
extra charge.
No extra charge. Unless it's abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless it's abuse.
Which never happens on a golf course.
And they're here often because they maintenance people's cars.
Other
here.
people's cars.
Oh, yeah.
So they're here.
Yeah.
It does pay for itself.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not affecting our budget whatsoever. We actually make a little bit of
Yeah,
it.
it's a revenue stream.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Everybody say you're right.
We just need to rent 1,000 of those cards. I think we'd be okay.
They private ownership, you have to rent one.
Uh-huh.
They have private ownership of golf carts. You rent them.
Yeah.
Call that the Sigafoos rule.
I'm not going for that. Okay, we're all okay with the new contract?
Yes.
Yes.
Move on.
The next issue I have on here is the danger tree on Kickapoo. Rick has been going around trying to find things for his people to do that does cost money, that needs to be done. And taking danger trees that are in danger of falling across the roads is one of them. He called me back to Kickapoo today. He showed me a tree that is very dead. It's leaning against another one. Wanted to know my opinion, and my opinion was that they should not try to take that down, that we should get a professional in.
Too big.
I have a question on that.
Yeah, okay.
That's not our tree, unless we own that lot.
It's in our easement though.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why we're taking them down. Yeah. Yeah. It's in our-
Nice try.
Well, I went and looked.
It's on our road easement, yeah.
And it's been dead
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just recently dead, it's been dead, and it's
rotted.
tall,
Yeah.
and it's leaning into the crook of another tree, and
We've had one of those taken out.
there's obviously a lot of different ways it can go, and there's at least 3 buildings it can hit. And it's just, I agree that we don't want our guys doing that.
Our buildings,
They're
No,
not our buildings.
member buildings.
2 houses and a garage,
Yeah.
and it'll, yeah, I wouldn't.
Far down this creek, or 831.
You know where Gary's Zubal bought that house off of Reed and built the garage? It's
Oh, okay.
right across from that.
Okay.
That's the garage, if it comes across the road, it can get.
Yeah.
How much is it gonna cost?
I don't know. We'll have to get estimates. I'll get estimates, but it's probably gonna be pretty close to $500. I'll get estimates though, but.
How about the people whose house is gonna fall on? You know,
that's what I was thinking. Is there some benefit to that?
Yeah.
The cost sharing thing, if nothing else?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I hate to pick, but
For $500, it probably just
Yeah.
get it done.
I don't know what it's gonna cost, but I'll get some.
we'll send them a card.
Should we have a vote to approve or not approve based on $500, or, so he doesn't have to come back?
Just we can do that.
Just go up to 7 and just.
Or, yeah, whatever the number.
I'm all right with going up to 700.
You just hang a big wire across it and tell Asplin to come in and get it for it.
Well, I was gonna say,
That's crazy.
wasn't it them or the cable company that was cutting trees down in a very scary manner?
Yeah,
So,
and rutting up somebody's yard.
yeah.
Approved to 700.
Approved.
We 5-0 on that, all right. There you go.
Okay.
I don't know, South Central, somebody cut a tree down my yard, we ain't close to the power line. I was thinking Randy's gonna send me a letter, some permission to cut it, it's in a pile. There we go.
Clean up your lot.
It wasn't a pine tree, was it?
No,
Also, it's good firewood.
it's sitting in my front yard if you want it.
No, I'm kidding.
It wasn't even really close to the power lines, but I don't know.
Okay. All right, discussion items. I gave you guys drafts of the budget. And depending on the level of discussion, and that's up to you guys, because we do not, we can keep it, if we can keep it at a line item type thing, you know, the whole line, that's fine, but if we're gonna get into details, since a considerable amount of it is around payroll and personnel and that sort of thing, then we will need to go into executive session. That's, what do you guys think?
I think we can keep it at the top level for now.
Okay.
We could always table sensitive things, so.
We'll just do a few minutes of session.
I think we could ask the Bakers to go upstairs for a few minutes, and they would if we need to talk about something behind the closed door. Because I think we want to try to present this next Tuesday to the board.
No, I was just saying, do it tonight after.
Oh, yeah. Well, we don't want you to. All right, any questions?
What does professional fees include?
A lot. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
is that our attorney fees?
attorney fees, the accountant fees.
Yeah.
What had historically been put in there, we would put like credit card fees, they're actually listed here anymore.
Yeah, we broke them out.
Those are broken out.
IT fees, so we broke those out this year, so if you look 18 and 19, it's hard to compare those two.
Well, that's why I was trying to backtrack on some of this. I made the assumption on my own, but I wanted to ask. I assumed it was for legal fees or for collections and delinquencies, attorneys, things like this is what I assumed.
Well, it's not legal fees.
They're up above in legal
They're up
collections.
above in legal
Okay.
collections, 400 there, yeah.
So my question still
Yeah.
stands.
Well, part of it is our attorney, or not attorney, I'm sorry, our accountant that we pay.
Yeah.
Our IT services that we pay
Right.
for. Trying to think if we would do anything with 2LMN or any other engineering fees, the firms they would fall into this category.
So would 2LM fall under what I think were contractors? So there's a contractors,
Subcontractor.
subcontractors, so that would be if we bid out chip and seal this summer, then that would fall into that light item.
That is correct.
That's what, you got $100,000 in there, motor pay.
But when I saw the dollar amount, I assumed that's what it was.
Last year's at 70,000. It dropped this year because it's,
Right.
considering we would hire out chip and seal.
If you were interested in the detail, Penny could actually run that report of what actually
And I can do.
those transactions are.
Yeah.
But I think
Just on the learning curve coming into this thing, just
Right.
to know what's hidden below each one of those things as
Yeah.
we go forward.
Yeah.
is-
Now, don't use the word hidden.
nothing is.
They are unknown to me.
There you go.
I would like to have them clarified.
I understand that.
How about that?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Fine with that.
Verbiage has been corrected.
I can send you that report in the morning if you'd like me to.
No, that's fine. I'm good with the explanation. I just wanted to clarify where it's at.
Randy, I think we've combined insurance and real estate fees though.
Yeah, we did.
Because of my recollection is our insurance is about 100 and our
Yeah,
real estate
real estate
taxes
taxes
is
are
about 30.
they're combined.
Yeah.
Well, you've got insurance at $492 and real estate taxes at $494.
I just combined them,
But-
put that
yeah.
on the breakout.
Yeah.
The,
That's just good of my recollection. So we're good with that.
the one that's in landscape that has the ABCD, that one kind of breaks down the things we talked about and where they're gonna affect and how much the total effect's gonna be. And the number's the same. I mean, the bottom line after we pay capital and depreciation, that will give us the ability to catch up, do some catch up on some of the other funds, the employee fund, insurance fund, and
Amenities.
yeah, and amenities, that sort of thing. That, you know, if we stay to the budget, that gives us a chance to make a real effort at getting it back where it needs to be, including potentially some more money, a little bit more for the depreciation / equipment fund if we get in a situation where we have to buy something that.
In an emergency situation, when we gotta have it.
And speaking of which, I actually ran in and talked to Elmer, didn't physically run into him. I might knock him down because he's only half the guy he used to be. The guy's lost a ton of weight. Looks great. Good for him. But he was at maintenance, and I asked him about the fairway mower. And he was getting hydraulic fluid to go back and fill it back up because he took apart the whole hydraulic system, which crashed midsummer last year. And he said he didn't really find anything bad, but you know how seals and that sort of thing can. He was getting ready to put it back, fill it up and see if it
Pressure.
Yeah, he's hoping that if that's up and running, then they understand what kind of shape we're in. Because when that one crashed, that was their front line fairway mower. When it crashed midsummer, they went to their backup, which is the orange one, or
No, it's a Jacobson.
yeah, and it has a control board that likes to, you know, when the alarm clock goes off at 7 in the morning, the control board quits working, almost kind of thing. And they have it running, but they're concerned about it being the frontline piece of equipment.
It's gonna run down.
Yeah.
Well, they put 3 control boards in it, and they're $1,200.
So the hope is that the one he worked on.
Are they gonna twist wires together? Little baling wire?
Well, I kind of.
He's probably
How
gonna
about
use
if
baling
we-
wires.
Solder.
How about if we go back, we'll just take out all the electronics and go back to points and condenser and thing or something.
Yeah.
But he's diligently attempting to salvage the equipment. So
Fantastic.
that's
Does the number for trash include recycling?
Yes.
taking it out.
Yes.
I'm just asking.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it does.
And E includes basically just, getting back to a break-even point. I just took it all out of just.
That partial we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? That's all right.
I don't have any other questions.
Well, what we can do, I'll tell you what, you got it. At the moment, you don't think there's any questions, but you know, how stuff crops up. Let's move on. Let's cover the last three things on here, and then we'll circle back to this at the end and vote or whatever. Staff overtime.
Staff overtime, I just want to know how you want to handle that. For instance, snow plowing, for maintenance and weekend snow plowing. I mean, snow plowing is kind of an issue, a safety issue. How you want to handle that. Now, during the week, what I've talked to Rick about probably is if they have to come in to plow and then at night they just leave early. Get to put her in their 8 hours. Hopefully that'll be enough, then leave early to try to hold that down. Weekends is a different situation. You know, I mean, we could bring them in on a Saturday and or Sunday and just give them a day off during the week. So we could do that also. It's just that, you know, we want to keep our maintenance guys happy.
I think it's a safety issue, and I think those are some things where Mother Nature comes in that you know. Right.
Well, the issue is,
But swapping hours.
Oh, if you could.
yeah, that's my point. That's my point. We'll do everything we can to
They're used to
hold the overtime hours down, and they understand that. So,
Well, I think there has to be, to get them to answer the phone on a Saturday, on a weekend, there has to be some incentive for it.
Sure. Absolutely.
Weekdays, you know, if they come in at 3 and then, you know, at,
Leave at noon.
yeah, you do that and to cut out the hours. But if we call them in and they go gangbusters on Saturday or Sunday, especially, so that everybody can get out of their driveway, you know, the ones that are still working, thank you very much, by the way, for adding to the Social Security.
It's the least we can do for you.
Absolutely. We'll try to make sure that you can get from your house to the Bremen Gate. How's that? No, I don't think it's fair to take that time away from them.
No, and if they do consider it a kind of a way of increasing their income, I would, and trading a Monday off for a Sunday, I've never seen that work, so.
No.
right.
You know, so.
Okay, that's it. That's what I want to discuss. I just want to make sure that you were.
I mean, we'll watch it.
I had the leeway to go ahead and approve that.
There could easily be a situation where overtime's going to be involved.
Exactly. Exactly. That's kind of my point.
But if they're willing to watch it and understand the situation, then that's a step in the right direction, I think.
And luckily, the weather's been kind to us so far. So.
Well, I think it's, to your point, the conversation I had with Elmer is indicative of their attitude. They, you know, they understand that there's not a, you know, we didn't have a rich uncle die or somebody like that, so they need to help us save money wherever they can.
Right.
Okay.
And then the second part about that is security. Security has quite a bit of seniority, so they vacations and time off. And covering that with just our part-time people, sometimes it's tough. I think maybe the discussion we have later will sort of discuss that again at a later time. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that was in there, security overtime, because they get quite a bit.
And that's still baked in here, isn't it?
Pardon me? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know how to pull it out, I would think, very easily, so. It still was in the last year's, so it's in this budget.
The cost for
No overtime?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's already there at last year's level.
Yes.
But I would have exactly the same feelings as maintenance with them.
Right.
You know, I mean, just control as best we can, and
if you have the opportunity to plan far enough ahead,
yeah.
you know, if it's a scheduled vacation, then there are 2 part-time guys
Right.
that we can move into that shift. But you have situations where almost at the last minute, somebody schedules, you know, a couple days off, or
They're ill, or they
Yeah.
had an accident, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta use your best judgment.
I think
Maybe just go to them and we should ask that as much notice as we can. And I understand sometimes you wake up and don't want to go to work next day and it's vacation day.
Yeah.
But as far as, you know, a week off or something, travel plans, whatever they can do to help us so we can get the schedule back.
Well, we've already asked them to do that. Per employee handbook, vacations have to be scheduled at least 30 days in advance.
That should help.
Personal time does not.
well, the other thing that crops up, very similar to maintenance, is if the weather goes to hell in a handbag,
Right.
and you got one guard that can't make it in from below Nelsonville or something, then they call in somebody that lives closer, and that's probably, you know, it's gonna be overtime for him, and there you go. But there's
Situation beyond our control.
Okay.
Exactly.
The next item here was the deck foundation, and just wanted a little bit of update from our board president on the deck foundation.
His pet project.
So you see there's 21 holes dug. Field measured them all. There's gonna be a few things we have to change on them, but for the most part, we're in good shape on that. The 2 that were closest, we did the final redesign to get enough room for access. We extended probably about 12 inches too far, so we'll just cut the deck is being redesigned to not include those last 2 posts. So what you see is what you get right now, which still will be, the engineer is reviewing the last changes. Whatchamacallit, Daisy Hill Farm Excavating will be back at the end of February, because where you see the rebar exposed, there's gonna be a cap that will be, concrete over the top of that, and then the post will sit on top of that. So that's where we're at with that. Once that's finished, we're already going through with a few changes in the design. We'll be going forward and ordering the materials going forward. So Daisy Hill Farm had originally quoted $12,000 for the foundations with the additional holes that they had to dig. They asked for another $1,500, so it was a total of $13,500. Again, they've made a lot of progress right now. I'll ask the board to approve a progress payment. We will not pay them the whole thing. Looking at about 75% of the cost at this time, and the rest will be furnished once they come back in. Most of the stuff we're ordering, there's only a couple things that are sort of a semi-special order, so I don't think we should have a whole lot of problem getting those pieces in. Because of tariffs and the like, there are some changes in material cost. We'll see what they are. Some things are up, some things are down. And last time I looked at it, we should be well within budget, but that could happen. That could happen, and then we'll go from there.
Is there a time and completion?
Well, yeah, by the end of spring, so that's available.
Depending on weather.
Yeah. Well, I think to be honest with you, I think
When is Mark?
the hardest thing is done, which is getting the foundations in there. They seem to be relatively stable. They're a little. We were out here measuring them over the weekend, so there's going to be some adjustments that are necessary to make them work. Again, they're probably solid, but we're building this thing to code, so there's got to have to be a couple changes.
Okay. Is Mark planning on trying to do it?
Yeah,
Right away?
Mark and Matt and the like were, basically in the springtime when the weather breaks.
They can't do anything till after Hobbs comes back in February and puts the caps on.
Yeah, he's got to finish that. So if you look at them right now, they're either, all these foundations are either 36 inches in diameter or 30 inches in diameter, and they're 6 feet deep. And there's rebar all the way down to
Yeah.
the bottom. So you see the rebar cages that are extended. And so the current code for building these things is you cannot have just a flat foundation because water collects on it and then it corrodes the connections. So what you do is you now build a smaller, essentially because the beams are 8 by 8, so it's going to be like a 12 by 12 cap, which will be over that rebar. You form that, you pour it, the net's there. The top of those are all, of course, laser set. And then once you're all done with there, then you bring the caps in and you drill down into that concrete to set the 8 by 8s. And that's all you do, and then you adjust it from there.
And essentially have the one thing coming out and
That's it, yeah. So instead of a couple of them that would have been 12 by 12 are going to have to be something more like, 18 by 18 because they didn't hit the middle hole. I got nothing.
Good idea.
yeah.
My son,
Okay.
my son who worked in structural field construction for the first 4 years of his career out of school had a lot of comments for me on Saturday. So
I bet.
But it'll work.
it's going to
And
work.
there's progress.
It is.
And
I mean,
that's all it
I think the worst part is essentially building a deck. Is building a deck.
Right.
It's more than a residential deck. I mean, believe me. I mean, this thing is not gonna. It's gonna touch the building, but it is not. The only place where it sort of will really touch it is over here on the where the two decks fit together. But it doesn't touch the lodge itself at all.
It's not using it for support.
Nope, none whatsoever. And that's one of the reasons that everything has to be recalculated, is to make sure those things fit. If you look out there, you've got hangars that are essentially moving, it looks more like a residential deck than it is a commercial.
Okay. I think I just shut them off.
That's good. No, the red's still on.
Let me see if I can. I was closing at the wrong time, hopefully. It disconnected. Now, back. Okay.
Okay, the last thing on here was kitchen floor. We had, of course, you might know that I had Tottens from Lancaster come out, give us a bid on the Protect-All flooring, which we really like because it's cushioned and has a 10-year warranty. I was asked to get a labor estimate, and that was a year. They said that's all they do on any of the floors they put in is 1 year labor warranty. But unfortunately, he came back the other day and took a look at it and called me and said he didn't think that he had the installers to do a good enough job to put the Totten's name on it, so he declined. He did have a representative with him, and the representative got me a name of another company who I talked to, and they just didn't think they could fit that into their schedule. So that was a 2 that has declined. I did have another company come in and take a look at it. They're Continental Floors out of Columbus, or Continental office equipment out of Columbus, who have a flooring division. They're pretty big,
Yeah.
and they are working up a quote for us now also. So I'll keep you informed on how that goes.
Have you talked to them about the availability?
The third
Yeah.
company? No. Oh, the availability of the material?
Of installing
Oh,
the
no,
labor and,
no.
Well, that's a great segue.
yeah.
I think what we have decided to do, what a couple of us have thought about, throwing it out for you guys' input, is, well, and there's a lot of pieces to this, postponing doing that floor until fall.
Yeah.
And not only because we're now running into a problem with having somebody come in and do it, and if we're gonna shut down for a week to do cleanup, we need to get it done. And there was a third piece that kind of, I didn't even think about, and last week when I was upstairs meeting with he and Randy, or you are Randy,
Yeah.
you and Rick,
That would be me.
Rick pointed out, you know, February's not a real good time to have me commit my whole maintenance staff to come in here and gut this kitchen, and then commit to my whole maintenance staff to come back in 3 days later and put the kitchen back together. And I said, why not? He goes, because if it snows, my guys are, I mean, their first priority is the roads. And then all of a sudden, we got, you know, the upstairs staff standing there and all their equipment's still sitting in the dance floor the day they want to open back up. So that wouldn't be an option, or wouldn't be a problem in late October, early November, which is also a slow time of year, not quite as slow as January or February. But if we postpone the floor until then, we go ahead and do shutdown February 1st for 1 week so that they can do their deep clean and due diligence in the kitchen, and we get that announced here shortly and we move on. Feedback.
Your project definitely sounds like it's on hold, so
It makes sense.
I guess that kind of answered my question when I asked why they were only guaranteeing their labor to install for a year, because they evidently weren't too comfortable doing
Well, I
it.
was there at that meeting, and I'll give the guys from Totten credit. He spun it that, you know, they don't want to put their name on it if it can't be done to their standard. I told him when they left, they're gonna back out. Is this the way, and let me back up. The day they came in, well, the day that the guy from Totten came in to give us the estimate, I wasn't there, Randy was, the power was out in the lodge. So he was basically measuring the kitchen and walking around with a flashlight. So he couldn't see, or didn't see, some of the issues, you know, you got power coming up through the floor that they'll have to cut around and then seal, and just that, there was
More holes.
I knew there was a reason why he came back, and that was basically to give him an excuse to say, I don't want to do this. And I'll give him credit, he did it in a tactful way, so. We'll move on, and we'll do it that way. All right. Anything else for the discussion items before we go back to the budget?
Front gate, package delivery and all that, and you and I have talked about one aspect of it, but I noticed somewhere, I saw, probably on Facebook, someone talking up the Schultz Farm delivery, which Rosemary and I have done. It's essentially I think it's CCA, or C, actually, there's 3 initials that go with it. I'm sorry, I don't have the information. But essentially, it's a local farm that'll come in and bring in on a monthly basis or a weekly basis fresh vegetables during the summer months. And they deliver it to security, and we pick it up and take it in. It's another delivery aspect for security, and I think we all need to be familiar, and I can get some information, but I think it's a great thing to do, but I don't want a whole bunch of people doing it in Hideaway Hills now with considerations on labor and things like that, so.
Well, it's just one more thing on security to try to handle it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm just wondering if we should get out in front of it and say that we discourage this kind of thing.
We, not that company, but we did kind of jump out this past summer when there was, some people thought that they should be able to have stuff that needed refrigerated delivered down front, and we don't have, we can handle, there's some people in here have their, prescription drugs. Some of that needs refrigerated. We have enough refrigeration space for that, and that's it.
Yeah.
You and I had a conversation about mail down front and packages, and I did meet with your Mike first, and then Randall, and we don't want to change. We got everybody. Well, we got most people addressing stuff correctly, and there was a possibility that somebody in security was way overthinking it and kind of wanted to make a couple little tweaks, and I said, no,
Yeah.
stop. We've got this thing to where we announced it, you address stuff this way, it'll show up, and so far, nothing's perfect, but 99% of the time, they're showing up where they're supposed to be, and we're gonna leave that alone for now. We did have another change at the Sugar Grove Post Office, and we'll see if that has any effect, because, we worked everything out with the
Yeah,
young lady that was the supervisor, and now she's gone, and Dave. Dennis, okay,
Yeah.
Dennis is better than Dave, the old Cheech and Chong, Dave there, Dave's not here, whatever. I could just
Okay.
see us having trouble with Dave, so maybe we won't have trouble with Dennis.
yeah, no, I'm just saying, I think we need to get out in front of it because, when they deliver to us, we have a very small one because I'm not a big veggie eater. And it would come in a laundry basket. And they would deliver it in the gardens and be kindly placing it. We'd pick it up on the day it was delivered. So, but other people do it in Hideaway Hills, I believe. I just don't know how much. And I can tell you, it's one of those things that's appealing.
Will they deliver to your house?
And that's the other side of that coin. I just think we need to dialogue some of these things.
Well, the
a little
reason I
bit more
asked
depth.
that is because.
No, they have pickup locations. To the best of my knowledge, they won't unless, we have maybe extra customers. But they have several locations of pickup, but we also, someone arranged for them to drop it off here. And that's why we accepted it. Because we didn't want to drive into Lancaster on a Tuesday, whenever the day was that they delivered.
Well, the reason I asked is because a couple months ago, and it hasn't flared back up, not that it was a bad thing, Aldi's in Lancaster started deliveries.
Exactly.
And they did, and somebody lives not too far from me, scheduled delivery, called them into security, and Aldi's delivered to their house.
Yeah.
And it worked
Very well.
super, and they had some deal that you got your first 3 deliveries, the delivery fee was free, and I don't know what it was after that, but I kept sitting there, you know how Facebook is.
Wanting it to,
Well, more often than not, you hear the bad and not the good, and I kept expecting it to blow up, and well, the guards wouldn't let them in or something, which fortunately didn't happen as long as they get called in. But you're right,
Well, I think we need to get out of accepting perishable items, period. I mean, we're not taking the risk for somebody's food and then you get open food down there and vegetable. It's just, we don't have space. We don't have space to store it.
I think that's, maybe we should send an e-blast out that,
Do not ship perishable items. The only thing we're gonna accept is medicine. That's it, period.
well, we can't control what comes in the mail.
If it comes in dry ice and sits there for 3 days, it's there.
But I'm just saying,
I know
perishable
people have
probably
their
works.
groceries delivered there and vegetables and,
It really could get to be
you can get on
problematic.
there quick.
yeah, especially with that small guard shack. Okay. Yeah, I think we ought to get out in front of it with an e-blast that basically, please don't have perishable items shipped.
Should I get whoever a copy of the website, at least the name of this
Yeah, if you would, please.
local place, so you can mention it as in this kind of thing?
So to that point, then, we would also have no issue with them delivering to the home then, as long as the homeowner goes through the procedure.
If they could do that, yeah.
Well,
Like Aldi's does.
if we're gonna blast, it might be something
Yeah.
that at this time, this is the way it'll have to be delivered to your residence, and you'll have to be responsible and call those people in.
Well, the other one that comes here once or twice a week is Schwann's, and what they do is they let everybody in here that deals with them know that they're gonna be down. They come right inside security and go over there to the right and sit there for an hour or two, and people go down and buy their stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's one option.
Yeah.
That's worked for a long time, probably. So, yes.
Okay.
Good thing. Thank you.
Communication.
Yeah. Anything else? All right, then we need to go into executive session for a couple quick subjects, and then, thank you.
You're gonna need to be excused for several meetings because of the in the area.
Good for you.
You're gonna have to give us a note from your mom or something.
I was wondering about that.
Could you put it in writing?